All right, today on The Explainer, we're jumping into a classic Japanese story that really makes you think about human nature. It's called Run Mellows, and it's this incredible tale about trust when everything's on the line. And the story kicks off with just one sentence. But wow, what a sentence. It just grabs you right away, throws you into this moment of pure, righteous rage. So you have to ask, what could possibly make a simple guy that mad?
Well, all that anger, it's aimed squarely at a paranoid king. And the showdown between these two is what kicks off this high-stakes promise, which is really where the action gets going.
So who is this guy, Melos? You've got to understand, he's not some big-shot revolutionary or a soldier. Nope. He's just a simple shepherd. Honest, super loyal, and he's got zero political axe to grind. He's only in the city, in Syracuse, for a happy reason. He's there to get gifts for his sister's wedding.
But here's the thing. Syracuse is not a happy place. It's quiet, like creepily quiet. And Melos finds out why from this scared old man. Turns out, the king, a guy named Dionysus, is executing people left and right, even his own family, all because he thinks they might betray him. His whole philosophy is built on this deep, paranoid belief that you just can't trust anyone.
And right there, that's the central conflict of the whole story, boiled down. You've got King Dionysius, who thinks being cynical is smart, that everyone is just out for themselves. And then you have Melos, who believes the absolute worst thing you can do is doubt someone's heart. These two worldviews, they're about to collide in a huge way.
So, Melos gets arrested, he's facing death, and he makes this gutsy request. He asks for just 3 days, just enough time to go to his sister's wedding. And you won't believe it, but the king says yes. But there's a catch, and it is a terrifying one. Melos' best friend, Selenuntius, has to stay behind as a hostage. If Melos is late, even by a second, Selenuntius gets executed instead.
Okay, now this is where it gets really juicy. As Melos leaves, the king leans in and whispers to him. And that's when you see his real game. This isn't a test of honor. Oh no. This is a public performance designed to prove his point, that when the chips are down, everyone chooses to save their own skin. He is 100% counting on Melos to betray his friend. So the deal is made. Melos starts this frantic journey home, but that bet the king made, it's just hanging over everything. And you can bet the road back is not going to be easy. Which brings us to the trials of the road. His journey back is this brutal race against the clock. It feels like everything is conspiring against him. Maybe it's fate, or maybe it's the king pulling strings from the background. He's up against 3 massive obstacles, and each one is a test, not just of his physical strength, but of his will to keep going. First up, the wedding goes off without a hitch, it's quick, and Melos immediately turns around to head back. But bam, the bridge he needs to cross? Gone. Totally wiped out by a flash flood. The clock is ticking down, so he's got no choice. He has to dive into this violent, churning river. He makes it, but just barely. He drags himself onto the bank, and what happens next? He's ambushed by bandits. Now Melo is convinced the king sent them to make sure he fails. So, running on pure adrenaline and this furious sense of justice, he fights them off and just keeps on running. So you've got the river, the fight with the bandits, and just the non-stop running. It all adds up and pushes Melos right to the edge. And you know, when your body gives out, your spirit is right there behind it, ready to crack. This is really the heart of the story, the brink of despair. And he breaks. His body just quits on him. He collapses, totally spent. And in that moment of physical failure, his spirit shatters too. All he can hear are the king's cynical words replaying in his head, and he just gives up. He thinks, it's over. I've lost. I'm a traitor. He actually starts to believe the king was right all along. And that could have been it, the end of the story. But as he's lying there defeated, something cuts through all that despair in his head. A sound. Just a simple, quiet sound of water flowing. He manages to crawl over to this little spring and takes a drink. And it's like that water washes away more than just his thirst. It washes away the despair, too. His body gets a jolt of energy, and right along with it, his honor, his hope, his promise, it all comes flooding back.
This isn't just a recovery, it's a rebirth. And it sparks the final, desperate sprint of his journey. His honor is back, his resolve is ironclad, and he is running for his life, setting us up for what becomes a true victory of trust.
He is flying, running with every last ounce of energy he has. But look, the sun is sinking fast. It's almost gone. The execution is happening now. In the distance, he can just make out the castle tower, glowing in the last few seconds of daylight. Suddenly, someone's running toward him. It's his friend's apprentice, a kid named Philostratus, and he's yelling at Malus, begging him to stop, to save himself. He's crying, "It's too late, it's over, he believed in you, and you failed him." You'd think this would crush him, but no, it does the opposite. It just pours fuel on the fire, and Malus screams back this incredible realization. This isn't just about saving his friend's life anymore. He's running because someone trusted him. He's running for something so much bigger, to prove that trust itself is real, to slap that idea right in the king's cynical face. And with one last, truly superhuman burst of speed, he's bloody, he's barely clothed, he bursts into the execution square just as the last sliver of sun disappears. He's screaming for them to stop. He actually did it. He made it. This shocking arrival, it kicks off our final act. The king made a bet against trust, and now he has to pay up. It's time to face the consequences. But before the king or the crowd can even process what's happening, something amazing unfolds. Melos turns to his friend and says, "Slap me." He confesses that for a second on the road, he doubted. His friend does it, and then asks Melos to slap him, admitting that he also doubted for just a moment. And as they hug and cry, you see the real point of the story. Trust isn't about being perfect. It's about forgiveness. Watching this raw, honest display of friendship, it just breaks King Dionysus. It shatters his entire worldview. He steps down, completely humbled, and just says, "You won. You've conquered my heart. Trust isn't a delusion." And then the tyrant, the killer, says something no one could ever expect. He asks if he can be their friend. The story ends there, with the crowd going wild, their tyrant totally changed, and it leaves us with this huge question to chew on. Is that kind of absolute, unconditional trust that Melos showed just foolish, a fantasy? Or is it something else? Is it a power so strong it can actually change the world, bring down a tyrant, and win over the most jaded, cynical person you can imagine?